where is the money going? Now, according to his financial reports, he is claiming that over a 5-year period, he spent a total of $71,412 in expenses. Now, that sounds good if you're trying to make money, but the problem is this. Over that 5-year period, he is claiming that every one of those dollars was spent in only one tax year, 2021. So you're telling me in 2020, 2022, 2023, and 2024, you spent absolutely nothing in business expenses. So no utilities, no repairs, nothing in 4 out of the 5 years of the organization. In your words, that sounds a little bit...
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Another thing that seems a bit odd is the fact that over that 5-year period, each and every year, Dr. Umar Johnson is described as the executive director of the organization and claims that he works 60-hour weeks every single week out of the year over a 5-year period, but yet he claims absolutely nothing in compensation. He gets paid nothing for all that hard work. All right, so now let's dive deep into these numbers and see what the story says. So based on the information provided by Dr. Umar and his tax filings, FDMG had a cash balance at the beginning of 2020 in the amount of $518,048. Pretty good. Over $500,000 in cash at the beginning of 2020. But by the end of 2024, its cash balance was $56,162. So that means during that 5-year period, the cash of this organization decreased by $461,886. But it gets worse because we actually have to do the math on the profit and loss of each year. Based on the information that's provided in the tax returns, the organization actually had a positive cash flow of $330,501. That means the organization made money over that 5-year period. So when we actually run the numbers, that's a discrepancy of actually over $792,000. But we were able to dig in to the numbers and see where some of that money went. Well, based on the information, in 2020, that is the year where the real estate of the organization was purchased. Now, I'm giving him saying that he spent $436,996 on the real estate. That may not be the true number, but that's what he claims the property is worth. So I'm going to give him that as a cash deduction. Now, he also claims that he paid off $54,361 worth of debt. So that is also a deduction from the cash balances. And he also claims that he was able to invest $141,278. So we still have a discrepancy of almost $160,000. And for those of you who are unaware, both the state of Pennsylvania and the Internal Revenue Service has already put Dr. Umar Johnson and his academy on notice that he is unable to collect funds as a nonprofit organization because of his lack of transparency and providing the financial information they request.
That changed your mind a little bit, Terry.
Yeah, that shit look bad, bro. That shit look real bad. Bro did his homework for real. That shit look terrible. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that's the most I ever seen somebody pull receipts on Umar. So
hey, I don't know. Everything that we're hearing, like Terry said, sounds horrible. At the same time, it just seemed crazy as hell that this man has did all this homework, digging into his, financial records. The young version of me wants to be like, man, this nigga is a hater, bro. Like that, it just sounds crazy.
Pocket watcher.
He tracks the money.
That's his whole stick. He does that to every scammer that's been out there. Everybody from Jay Morrison, DJ Envy, all of them. He cooked all of them boys. And he
That's
the king. He
crazy.
the king of receipts.
That's crazy. I get it though. Dude, definitely, he out of pocket, but again, just the character, in my opinion, the character that he portrays is like I wouldn't trust dude with a dollar. You know what I'm saying? But he was able to finesse a lot of people clearly. So
All right, go ahead, dope. My take, I'm not a Umar fan at all. I don't find him to be trustworthy from what I gather. So I posted a comment the other day. I said, stop giving this nigga your money. Like, I don't know why anybody would. I guess I get why people would give him their money, but I wouldn't give him a dime. Like, I wouldn't give him a dime. I don't find him to be credible. So that's my take. I don't really have too much to say.
All right, go ahead, Hank.
Struggle stream. We got to get him some little sticky
Can
things,
you hear
sticky
me?
notes.
Man, I don't want them goddamn headphones. You hear me now?
We
Can you hear me? We good? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we've been saying it for a long time that Dr. Umar's a fraud, but now that we're starting to have more and more proof out there, more and more evidence, is really making him look bad. Now, him talking about people hacking his account, man, it happens to everybody every day. That's nothing new. We all have to deal with that, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? You just make the proper adjustments that you have to do with your bank, make sure you file a fraud claim and go from there. But him trying to use that to say, yeah, I don't believe that at all. I think it's just another way of scamming more money out of people. So.
I'm just thinking about the frame of mind, though, that he had to be in to even decide that he wanted to virtually panhandle at this point. Like,
yeah.
How much are you in despair that you feel like you need to do that? Because just what is that doing for your brand? It's embarrassing in so many ways. I'd be so ashamed to do that. I'll be honest, I'll catch a lick first before I start begging. As horrible as that may sound, but for your brand, this is just like, damn, brother. Like, and you gotta just have some type of foresight to think that people are going to start digging into your finances. At this point, you're a public figure, and people already were skeptical about the school and everything, which I've actually seen some progress because he did cover some video and it looked like it was some progress as of late, at least. But people were always skeptical about it, at least for the past few years. So to now come up with this, you gotta understand that people are gonna dig deep into your finances, and the age of social media, man, it's not gonna turn out well for you. So if you have any skeletons in your closets or anything that might be kind of sus, you may never want to have people looking into your finances like this. And I think the scrutiny is only going to get worse. And the more layers that we peel back, the more evidence we'll find of something that could very well be nefarious. I've certainly, after watching what Pocket Watcher did just now, it makes it look a lot worse than what I initially thought, because that's tax returns and everything, and that math ain't mathing. So if I were him, I would be quite concerned right about now.
Man, betrayal, that's why I say, like, do you think that's what's really happening, right? Because he's been in the internet world for what, 15 years maybe?
Well, if he's lying about that, I think he's smart enough to understand that he's going to be at risk for fraud. Anytime you try to do any types of crowdfunding and things like that. And then if you are misleading people, then you could get all types of weird wire fraud charges and shit like that. So I think he's at least cognizant of what's going on with that. I hope that it's not some bullshit, because he's really opening up a can of worms. If that part of it is bullshit, he's in real trouble, because when you start to take money from people publicly like that, you run into some real issues.
Yeah, wire fraud. Each one of those charges, one is federal, and that shit is 10 to 25 per charge. So y'all better quit playing with them banks and shit. That ain't nothing. No.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was thinking like, man, it's a lot of people that be doing a lot of type of different things. They just ain't got caught yet. A lot of people's paperwork is not in order when it comes to taxes, and it's just when you look at things like that, it just make you want to double check yours and make sure your bookkeeping is in order, because I would hate to be audited and be that far in the hole. To have your accounts froze, I've never experienced anything like that, but I just couldn't imagine you waking up one day and we put so much trust into these banks, but they all connected. And if you do something, make a mistake, they can just hold all your money and even take it if they find you guilty of on the government. They just wipe it all out, and that could put some people in a tough situation.
You can JT is a solid tax guy too. So I mean, he also, for anybody who's not aware, he does taxes for people. Like, he's a legit tax professional as well. So one of the things that I like about guys like him is that they'll get you the most without putting you in risk of going to jail. A lot of these accountants out here will try to go get you a bunch of deductions that they know you don't qualify for that may pass, but then you get audited 3 or 4 years later, and then that tax guy you can't find. So now you got to go down there to the IRS office in person and talk to these people and not be able to explain why you took them deductions. It's not going to go over, and then they're going to hit you with a penalty for the money that you took that you weren't supposed to get, and then on top of that, you have to pay interest. So, like, playing with these taxes and shit, man. If you get into a bag, you got to have that shit in order.
And then also too, I remember the first time when I got a business, I had went to somebody, because I never did the business tax, but when I went to somebody, they was promising to get you money, and I went through the whole process, and I think I wrote off a bunch of money because I was a first-time business. And then when I got with my accountant that I'm with right now, I'm coming to find out, even though the tax return printed out, it was never filed. She didn't know what she was doing. It was kind of like a red flag even in the moment, because I didn't know. It just, she was kind of stuck a little bit. But once I went to my accountant, we had to go back to file that. And one of the things that I learned too is that you can always go back to amend, but as long as you get the tax return, you can file for an extension. But as long as you get it in, you can file all zeros. You can always go back to correct whatever needs to be corrected, but you at least got to get it in. So, and if they charging you by how much you're getting back, you don't want to mess with them. Yeah, like the person that I'm with now, they just charge per form, no matter what you're getting back. Mm-hmm. So I think you got to surround yourself when it comes to these finances. It's no joke. And when you start making more money, you can really see how some of these celebrities and stars can get in the hole, especially if you're getting money that's tax-free. So just make sure you educate yourself. Make sure you have that bookkeeping in order, because you don't want to be one of those people on the other side, because it can be a scary place. You're owing a whole lot of money.